when it was first announced, is getting like 8-minute standing ovations at film festivals and early Oscar buzz for Joaquin Phoenix's stunning performance. Color me stunned as well, but maybe DC's finally figured it out. Stop trying to hurry up and copy the cool kids over at the MCU. Just tell great stories, great actors and great directors, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be the ones laughing last. Then again, we haven't seen the movie just yet. Secrets of the Sire starts now. Secrets of the Sire. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sire Studios digital network. That's youtube.com/Secrets of the Sire, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, twitch.tv/Secrets of the Sire. And you can download this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, anywhere podcasts are available. Tonight we are talking Joker, trailer, truth or trash, and the reviews are in, and a House of X review. I am your host, Michael Dolce, as always, joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Who still looks like Vader after they unmask him.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, when you dip your head below it, yeah, it looks like you have like the head of the Darth Vader outfit.
Wow.
You don't think so? Well, to anyone listening to us, they can't see this, but if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube,
I don't know. Go watch Return of the Jedi again to see if you think that's a compliment.
I didn't say it was a compliment.
Yeah, all right.
I did not say it was a compliment.
You want to start the show like that? Okay, no problem. No problem.
What I do want to say is there's less than, I think, 40 hours to go. Ned, Lord of the Pit, A Comedy of Terrors by Jim Calafiore. He's a friend of the show. He's done some Sire covers. His Kickstarter is like, it's very close to being funded. If it's not already, it's like, it needs like a couple grand. He asked for 38. I think last time I checked, it was like 35 or 36. Go check it out. It's close. Put it over the edge.
Do your duty.
Go look up Ned, Lord of the Pit.
Go
check it out. And it'll run through, I think till Thursday. So you got another
you plebs.
Thursday or Friday. You got another day to do it. Speaking of Kickstarters, we're going to be announcing a Descendant Kickstarter next week, which I guess I just did, but we'll give you the exact date so you can check out Descendant. That was the book that I did with Marcus Perry and Mariano Navarro over at Image Comics, celebrating 10 years. 10 years. Oh boy. All right. Joker movie. Hassan, let me set the stage for you. Let me paint a picture for you. Two gentlemen, very handsome gentlemen. They do this weekly podcast. And when they ran down the list of
handsome, so
movies,
it's me and who else? Who's the other guy?
Yeah, some guy. They ran down the list of 2019 movies, and lo and behold, on the very end of it, like toward the end of the year, October, was Joker. And we saw, well, first of all, the first reaction was, really? Todd Phillips, the Hangover guy? Like, really? Old school Todd Phillips? All right, Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor. Maybe it won't be total trash. Maybe it won't be total trash.
Yeah.
Then fast forward a few months later, the first trailer comes out, and you're like, this is either going to be really good or really bad. Like, there was no in between at that, right? Fast forward, we are now at the third trailer. And right as the third trailer dropped last week, during our show last week, actually, the reviews from the Italian Film Festival come in, and just critics in general, and they are raving about it. Stunning, fearsome, highly physical performance. That was Hollywood Reporter. He declares the film grippingly atmospheric. IGN, Jim Vevoda. See, I got that one right. Vevoda. Drawing its spirit and style from the classic 70s and 80s films like Taxi Driver, The King of Comedy, A Clockwork Orange, A Dog Day Afternoon, Director Todd Phillips' Joker presents a Gotham City that is unmistakably a stand-in for the hellish New York City of the era. Phoenix's character is in nearly every scene. He describes it as if it were Arthur's tortured headspace for the entire time. Forbes critic calls Joker one of the best films in 2019. Again, fearless and stunning in its emotional depth and physicality in terms of Phoenix. The fact is, everyone is going to be stunned by what he accomplishes because it's what many thought impossible. Forget what he's about to say. We just thought it was impossible that he would have a performance like this. Now, look, we have not seen the film yet. The film does not drop until New York Comic Con Friday. We will have our review live from the Starlight Runner headquarters October 6th. So check us out there. I'll be very excited to sit and wax poetic with Fabian Nicieza and Jeff Gomez about this movie, because I think that's going to be a really that's a cluster of good heads to talk. But Hassan, from where we started, when we even heard there was a Joker movie, to this precipice of it's not just going to be good, it could be great. Are you shocked? Are you surprised?
I'm pleasantly informed that people are responding well to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really shocked.
No?
No. And I'm not shocked because I thought it was going to be great all along.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, I don't know how to say this. It's kind of weird because it's not true.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lie, what I'm about to say.
I'm excited. I'm eagerly anticipating.
So many films that are almost immediately dismissed
Mm-hmm.
in the concept stage by the general public,
The masses.
by the hive mind,
Mm-hmm.
turn out to be great films.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that Aquaman was going to be a big hit just because of the pure absurdity of Aquaman in the first place, and also because of the track record of DC. DC had done not so great with Superman and Batman, who are the gold standards of superhero dumb, and in spite of long before the superhero cinematic age had started, Batman and Superman. I mean, we're in our 10th and 11th Batman and Superman movies, So I mean, Batman is, especially Superman, going all the way back to 1970s. I mean, we have seen these characters depicted. Those movies did not do well. So now you're going to whip out Aquaman, who was such a joke that that it was a running joke in Entourage that Vincent Chase was going to play Aquaman.
It wasn't a running joke, actually. They actually treated Aquaman.
But I mean, it's like, okay, it was one of those things where we're going to just say that he's going to be Aquaman because they're never going to make an Aquaman movie, right?
Right.
So it's virgin territory.
They felt safe. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, in my humble opinion. So Aquaman's going to come around, and and it's like, this is going to be a disaster because they couldn't get Superman right. How are they going to get Aquaman? How are they going to get a movie with a drunk
fucking fish
octopus? How's it even going to happen?
By the way, it was on HBO. Again, it was on reruns on HBO, and the scene, just to give you a scale of how much they succeeded with Aquaman, the scene where he's at the aquarium and all the fish are like bowing toward him, like when he's a little kid, like just at the very beginning, like just to make talking to fish cool. James Wan pulled it off in like 10 minutes, like amazing.
What's one of my kind of favorite scenes in the film is when he meets his brother for the first time, when he meets what's this guy's name? The owl, from Watchmen. His brother is a king.
Yeah.
Patrick.
I want to say Carney, but I don't think that's right.
No, but we know, everybody know. Oh man, and he's a star. So the fact that we don't know his name
means he's got to try harder.
No, the fact that we don't know his name does not reflect
harder.
Yeah, for you, ass, but not me. Okay, so anyway, don't speak for me. That sequence where he meets his brother and they have that piece of dialogue, I'm like, this is not bad. This is not. I'm not rejecting this. I don't understand what's going on. So to get past that, Aquaman does well. Now they're going to do a drama of the Joker. Joker is dicey territory after Heath Ledger, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be Heath Ledger. It's not gonna be Jack Nicholson. It's not gonna be Mark Hamill. So now we're like
Right.
Jared Leto did his turn as Joker. I don't believe he did terrible.
No.
And I think the reason his Joker is a passing Joker is because he didn't try to copy anybody else. He played a completely different aspect of Joker. I don't know what DC's doing, what Warner Brothers doing by having a completely different Joker movie. While they're trying to build their own cinematic franchise.
No, but see, that's what I think they're doing. And I think that's really what I kind of talk about a little bit is the fact that DC is finally letting go. Like it's amazing. It's like, when you're in high school and, I came from a Catholic middle school into public high school for the first time. And immediately the first thing I do is I look around and go, okay, what's everyone doing? And what do I do to blend in, to attach myself to what everyone else is doing? It's not a question, when you're a new kid in a big high school, you don't, at least my interpretation was, I don't want to stand out. I want to blend in. I want it to be seamless. I want to be part of the cool kids. I want to be popular. I want to be whatever the case might be. I don't want to be the kid being chased around.
I get it.
DC, that's what they did when they entered.
But they haven't given up on their expanded universe.
They became like the kid that tries the first year and then is like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my hair out.
I got an official word that they've given up.
I'm gonna get my cigarettes, or I'm gonna be my artsy guy, or I'm gonna just devote myself to sport.
Analogy. We can stop with the high school analogy. I get it. I'm just saying we don't.
It is a brilliant analogy.
No, it isn't. It is the tritest analogy I've ever heard. But anyway, we haven't heard official word that they've given up on this stuff. Trite is not a curse yet. So.
I don't think they've given up. In the sense of, yes, they're going to continue to make movies that could potentially tie in. Point. But I think they've given up trying to copy. They're still making
another Suicide Squad movie,
they're done trying to really copy the Marvel model. They're not.
Okay, well that's good, but I mean that doesn't mean. All right, never mind. Doesn't matter. The whole point, the long belabored point I was trying to make, is just that I'm not surprised that a movie that seems like it would be a ridiculous idea is actually being praised as a good idea. Right. I got off that bandwagon when they announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker the first time, and it was everyone's like, this is a bad, because it was a throwback all the way to 1989. But when they announced that Michael Keaton was going to be Batman. And
this is the funny thing, though, right? Yeah, this is the funny thing. Everyone was kind of like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix. Great actor. I could see him doing really great things with his role. The idea of a solo Joker movie with no Batman, dumbest thing I've ever heard. Right? Like, it wasn't the casting this time.
Which I think is my point.
I know it is your point.
Every time conventional wisdom says it's a bad idea, it's probably going to work.
Yeah. No, it's funny how in this particular case, in the years past, it's always been the person that they cast is like the dumbest thing. The Robert Pattinson Batman. Everyone's like poo-pooing that immediately. Michael Keaton, like you mentioned, Heath Ledger, things like that. Now it's not the casting. It's like, oh no, that's a great idea for a Joker. Why is this just a Joker movie with no Batman? This doesn't make any sense to me. So it's just weird.
I will honestly take a moment to say I am sick and tired of the hero adjacent genre.
Yeah,
that we're having with Gotham City and Krypton, and
which got axed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's still an aspect of the hysteria. I mean, Smallville was kind of like that, but they actually had Superman.
Yeah.
In Smallville.
Yeah.
But it's
just no capes, no tights.
It's just weird nincompoopery of like, well, we're not actually doing a superhero movie. But we're doing a superhero movie, we're still doing a comic book movie, but we're just not doing it with the superhero. It's like if in a couple of issues of Batman where Batman doesn't actually show up and it's about the side characters. I'm like, okay,
right.
Yeah, I get it. It's cute because you're running out of ideas, and I understand it. And I appreciate that, and I respect it, and I respect the attempt
Mhm.
and I want you guys to succeed. I do not want them to fail. I don't want this genre to end. But stop it. Stop. Just it's
Did you see over
nonsense.
the weekend too? I didn't send this to you actually. I probably should have, but it was a holiday weekend. Mark Maron,
Okay. I guess
who's
we're not on
in
the clock in the holiday weekend. You know,
no,
you sent me a billion texts over the weekend about the recording
that's
Wednesday,
right.
Wednesday, where Wednesday, and
Yes.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Well, it's a holiday week, you know.
Well,
It's a
then
short week. We're making sure.
send me the stuff then.
Um,
Okay.
Mark Maron, who stars in Joker,
Uh-huh.
as one of I think his agent. I guess he has an agent. I don't know. Again, I don't. You know what? I'm
Because he's a
purposely
failed comedian, which
right. I'm purposely in the
whatever
dark on all
pieces
this,
that
which is great.
you could assemble from the images that we were given.
Right.
Apparently, he's a struggling comedian or
Right.
performance artist,
Right.
and he hasn't found his niche yet, and
Right.
he hits his breaking point just at the time about just around the time he starts to blow up. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Mark Maron plays his agent, but I guess he played the Twitter game of talking about how this is this is for grown-ups. This is not for kids. This is not for, but in a very like sarcastic way. Yeah. He learned the lesson of just don't press send on Twitter because it's just not worth it. And he's getting into like philosophical debates with Twitter trolls and non-Twitter trolls and real people and not real people.
if
Uh,
I ever became a celebrity, like a
yeah,
real celebrity, you'd never hear from me. I would never use that stupid thing. I
yeah,
would
no,
never use Twitter. I would hardly ever use Facebook. As of now, I very
I
rarely
know,
use Facebook.
I know.
So I don't understand. I don't understand what's wrong with people. I don't get it. I don't get how you don't know that that's a. If there was a place you went in the city,
Yeah,
every time you walked in that place, someone punched you in the face. I guarantee you
or
stopped going
stabbed
there.
you, just
Yes,
cold stabbed you.
or murdered your friend. You went in
Right.
there.
You'd
The
be like,
three of you
damn,
go in at on average three.
we lost Bob again.
Yeah, damn.
Every
How
time.
many Bobs do we know? Like, where can we find another Bob? It's nonsense. The how many of these incidents explode or get escalated on Twitter
Yeah.
is nonsense.
All
It's
right.
absolute nonsense.
Third
So,
trailer. Third trailer
oh,
just
okay,
hit.
I'm done. I guess. Go
Well,
ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead, dude.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah, well, it took emphasis.
Oh,
I'm using emphasis.
usually when you get the third nonsense, that's when I cut to the next.
It's a triplet, man. You know what a triplet is.
I do now.
You know what a triumvirate is. Yeah,
Okay.
goon. Go on. Move
Third
on
trailer
with your,
dropped. Third trailer dropped.
yeah, whatever. What's this nonsense about like 10 trailers per movie now?
I don't disagree with you. The funny thing about it though is it dropped, and then a few days later we get the critics' reviews anyway, so they're kind of
The trailer drops, and half the world has already seen the damn film.
yeah. I know.
You know,
I know.
like, what? Wait a minute.
I mean,
What?
we're gonna do an abbreviated one here because, quite frankly, it doesn't really show us too much new.
No,
You
no.
know, we kind of know what we're in for now, and if you check out the reviews, obviously this is going to be a deeply psychological movie from all the reviews that I'm reading. So I'm actually, I'm curious to see where that goes. So it's on the third trailer, which again didn't show us much different. Are we going trailer truth or trailer trash, or should we come up with a third category of trailer too much? I
You
don't know.
already have an idea of what the third category should be, so just suggest it.
No, I don't actually. I don't.
Well, what would be the gauge,
I just
right?
said
Trailer
trailer.
truth is a great trailer. Trailer
Yeah.
trash is a useless trailer. What would the third choice be?
Like
Where would we gauge it?
wasn't bad, but just unnecessary. Trailer.
No art is necessary. I don't like using the necessary unnecessary.
No, but you even said it yourself. Like there's 18 trailers per movie at this point.
18 trailers is excessive, especially when it's.
Yes, I think the literal.
But
number
that's
of it.
no excessiveness is not unnecessary.
Okay.
Too much. It doesn't mean it's not necessary. But here's the thing. The problem is seeing too much of the movie before you go to see the film.
Yeah.
And then the film has no impact.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Like, the problem is they're following an algorithm, right? They're like, well, we've got X amount of of activity buzzing about this particular movie, so we need to drop another trailer, or we need to do another publicity stunt. Blah blah blah. I get it. I understand. I just think You know, when you got a movie as big as Endgame, you could drop 50 trailers because everybody's still going to go see it, and there's so much
Yeah.
in it. I mean, you could cut about 10 and 15 trailers out of Endgame and still not have given away 90% of that movie. You know, because it's all over the place. The film is all over the place. But we pretty much kind of know what the Joker is about from the trailers we've already seen. Now, perhaps I'm sure there are nuances to it that we don't know that's going to change the way we perceive the entire film once we actually finally see it. But I mean, the fact that you could pretty much extrapolate, he's an artist, he's underappreciated.
Right.
You know, he's going through hard times. He's broke. He's going through hard times. He's got illnesses in his family that he's trying to compensate for, right?
Yep.
And he gets pushed too far. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Now, it could be the whole movie could be different than that. So, hey, I'll take it on the chin if that happens. But from what we've seen so far, we pretty much know what the movie is about.
Trailer truth.
But it's the truth. But what does trailer truth mean now? Does trailer truth mean that the trailer told the truth about the movie and told us exactly what the movie is about?
Not exactly what it was, but gave us.
Or is it just a clever alliteration to make it sound interesting?
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah. So it's that. Okay, I got you. It was a trailer truth. They were good trailers.
Yeah, I know they are. I know they are. The trailer truth. I think they're giving us the window into this being a fantastic movie. Some folks are talking Oscar. Would it be possible for him to win? Is Joker just
Sure, why not? Let's make a movie about the devil and tell us all about how sympathetic he is.
This is going to be it's going to sound terrible, but if you're a Tropic Thunder fan, you remember Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
Can't go full.
Was there an age where I would forget about it?
You can't go full. You know, he's telling Ben Stiller's character.
Can't go full what?
I'm going to leave it at that because we live in a different age today.
So then what you bring it up for if we can't actually reference it?
Is Joker the new full? You want an Oscar? You want an award? Play the Joker. That's it.
I don't get that analogy. I just, you know.
I'm just saying.
I just think you got a bad guy. Like, next is going to be a Zod movie. You could talk about Zod, how Zod was coming up through the Kryptonian military, and he got beat up by a lot of people, and everybody needs.
I think that would be brilliant.
No, it wouldn't, man.
Just as long as
Heck no.
Not another sequel. When we come back,
you don't want a sequel, but you want prequels, and you want adjacent movies.
I don't. I actually. There
you go.
The adjacent I can deal with. More sequels. What I don't want are franchises resurrecting themselves like 10, 15 years later. We're going to count down the best and worst with news that a new Matrix movie and a Breaking Bad movie are on the horizon when we come back. Check out the all-new Sire Studios website, SireStudiosInc.com. Find all your back issues for The Sire, Mainstream, Undone, and more. And be on the lookout for news and announcements, convention appearances, and brand new podcasts coming to Sire Studios. That address again is SireStudiosInc.com.
What I want to feel for Rian Johnson as a creator is that he turned in the most kick-ass Star Wars script that was going to flip the script on the entire saga, and Kathleen Kennedy and everybody else like, no, we can't do this. You know, what else you got? And then he turns into the first draft of the Star Wars fanfic that he did when he was 15 years old. He goes, well, I got this also. And they're like, we'll make this. This is brilliant.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. Big fans Craig Caruso, Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Tom Osa, Ashley Haikai, Omar Morales, Brian Phillips, Steve Hovecki, Program Director 70 Dolce, and as always, our Uber fan Christina Dolce. Go to Secrets of the Sire well, actually go to patreon.com/Secrets of the Sire. You can also check us out at secretsofthesire.com if you want to link over there, or if you want to subscribe to us. We please encourage you to subscribe to either our YouTube channel, download us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to us there, like us on Facebook, watch as much of our videos and our podcasts as possible. That actually helps us as well too. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. We've become more than a middling podcast thanks to the support of our fans. All right, we were talking. See that, Hassan? I said we're more than a middling podcast now. We're a plus middling.
Yeah, it
Good
would have
stuff.
been poignant if you didn't repeat it.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
See what I did? See what I just did?
I know.
Ah.
Out with the new,
Oh boy.
in with the old. Breaking Bad.
Well,
Breaking Bad movie will be coming to Netflix in October. This is according. We had so much stuff going on last week with the D23 stuff. Didn't even get a chance to go into these announcements. A teaser trailer and poster dropped 2 weekends ago for the film dubbed El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. It'll bow on Netflix October 11th and air on AMC later on. Aaron Paul replies.
in all fairness, Breaking Bad has only been a television show. It hasn't been a movie.
True.
So this is a progression for them. It's into the foray of excuse me, not the foyer, but they're on the
Are they in the foray?
They're on the foyer of a foray into the genre. So I mean,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's kind of on the heels of this news as well too.
Yeah, it's on. Well, I know where you're going to go, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm saying it's on. It's on your radar. It's on your radar of what you're talking about. But there.
Can you spoil a podcast recording that we're actually doing at the time?
There is a positive. You have another topic that you want to reveal that you want to.
True.
Talk
Yes.
about. So I decided I wasn't going to take it from you. What is the matter with you? You're like making it harder for me to let you be smooth. I don't understand what's the matter with you. Anyway, go ahead. I'm done. I'm done helping you. Go ahead.
I know this is a Keanu Sans, as they have been calling it, but Matrix 4. No, that is an official term, a Keanu Sans. Matrix 4 in the works with Keanu Reeves and Lana Wachowski. Carrie-Anne Moss also set to return. This was announced 2 weekends ago.
2 and 3 worked out so well.
Warner Brothers will once again team with Village Roadshow for this project. We could not be more excited to be re-entering the Matrix with Lana. Lana is a true visionary, a singular and original creative filmmaker, and we are thrilled that she is writing, directing, and producing this new chapter in the Matrix universe. Many of the ideas Lily, that's Lana's sister, and I explored 20 years ago about our reality are even more relevant.
When we stole the original story.
And I'm very happy to have these characters back in my life and grateful for another chance to work with my brilliant friends. Screenplay is by Wachowski, Alexander Hemon, and David Mitchell. It was released in '99. It was seen as revolutionary. It was the idea of reality. Blah 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 blah.
Stop it! Don't waste time.
I know. But this is the thing. Like, just let these movies die.
No, what are you talking about? This is not your typical call on this. Like, you know what? This is the thing. Your attitude about this changes from week to week. I'm the ornery one. I'm the one who, on a regular basis, decides that this is nonsense. You can't take my shtick. You can't be like, this is nonsense. And then what do you think it's on? And I'm stuck going, I think it probably could be like
top of your head. No, see, this is what. Wait. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the prep when I'm texting you all weekend. This is the prep that goes into it. I'm sick of this. I'm sure you're sick of this. So I want to ping pong to you. Can you?
No. I would be sick of it if it was a reboot of The Matrix. If they're talking about making a sequel, I'm interested in seeing what the sequel is about. If it's a reboot, we're going to do The Matrix again.
Yeah, I know.
Then we're going to go back to Middle Earth. You know,
that one especially, yes.
It's I'm not into that. You know, I can't do reboots. Reboots, I'm not really interested in. But like I said again, I guess I'm coming out as a positive one this time. As I said again, like Breaking Bad it has a little precedence because it's jumping genres, right?
Yeah.
Or it's jumping medium.
Yeah.
The Matrix is a sequel. Should they make a sequel to the original Matrix? Probably not. Now, I don't mean I'm happy with the story and I don't want them to ruin it because I don't really believe
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I don't think
because
it.
of because I've had to adopt the philosophy because of Star Wars that
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
an addition into a series that I like doesn't ruin the whole series. I've had to evolve because of that. So if the Matrix 4 comes in and it's not, it turns out it just turns the entire original series upside down, throws out all the rules or whatever. I won't like that movie, but it won't ruin the other Matrix movies for me.
Sure.
But if it's a sequel and they're gonna bust their butts trying to tie it in and make it all make some kind of sense and explain itself to us,
Yeah.
then I'm all for it. I don't think we're gonna. I mean, honestly, don't think we're gonna get Keanu Reeves. Well, what am I talking about? Because he spent the last.
You don't even know who you are anymore.
No, he spent the last like 10. I was gonna say I don't think we're gonna get old Keanu Reeves doing kung fu, but I forgot all about John Wick. So
Yeah.
yeah, all right.
John Wick is the reason we're actually getting another Matrix. That is the most amazing thing.
And it deserves. I have been a Keanu Reeves fan.
I love Keanu.
Bill and Ted, all the way back. I have always been a Keanu Reeves fan. I've always liked him.
Good dude too.
Yeah, well, apparently, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I have never met him, but I've seen a lot of good stuff.
Nothing but good things to say about him.
Because, you Keanu Reeves, what do you got to do? Be, rock star,
You can ask that about a lot of people.
Huh?
You can ask that about a lot of people, and the answer is generally, no, that guy's a dick. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Well, of course, because
people ask me all the time. I mean,
they make the wrong choices. But Keanu Reeves not being a dick, you can understand. Like, why would you be a dick? If you were Keanu Reeves, would you go around being a dick, or would you just be cool because he's cool?
Let me ping pong this over to you.
Did you see the John Wick? Did you see John Wick 3?
No, I haven't seen. I couldn't get through 2. Actually, I loved 1. 2, I just for some reason I couldn't get into it. I don't know why. I felt like 1 was just a perfect movie, and we didn't need any more.
And one of those people.
I'm not saying 2 is bad. I don't
know how you ever get tired of watching one guy beat the snot out of
usually I don't. Usually I don't. But for some reason in this case, I was just like, I just don't want to. I might see 3. I'll tell you what I'm watching right now. I've finally caught up to the last Fast and Furious movie, Fate of the Furious. Toretto, he's turned on everyone. Charlize Theron's got him by the balls. It's great. It's amazing. The Rock can take rubber bullets and just keep going.
Yeah, maybe that should have stopped. Although I did see Hobbs and Shaw, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
it is a ridiculously stupid movie.
Fast and the Furious franchise, those whole franchises, and Hobbs and Shaw. I'll watch it when it comes on cable as well.
What I'm talking about, what was kind of wrong with the Fate of the Furious is when they is in my.
Wait, don't tell me. I haven't finished it. I only got through half of it.
I'm not gonna tell you anything. You already said it. What's kind of wrong with it, in my opinion, is when they try to put drama in it, like Toretto turning evil when the evil Spock.
It was cool. It's just so bonkers.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Whenever you start to add actual drama in, now your mind starts to get a little confused. Wait a minute, am I supposed to be taking this seriously? Am I supposed to be worried about any of these people? I mean, they jump out of planes with cars. Like, am I supposed to be worried about it? So that's
the bit of it. By the 8th installment, they're not even giving you like the Berlin part of that where they're actually on the initial job. That would have been an entire movie. Now they're just like, no.
They do that. That's Act 1.
We're just going to the rest of it to the wrecking ball coming through.
And it's
sorry if anybody else hasn't seen it yet. Spoilers.
It's just, you're the see how you're the one who spoils it.
Well, I don't want you to spoil it for me. That's. I just don't want you. I just want you to go past there. No, all right. I don't know how we got over here.
Can we be done talking about the Fast and Furious?
By the way, also another movie I resaw. I rewatched Rogue One this weekend.
What?
I rewatched Rogue One this weekend.
Oh boy, here we go.
Still great.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? You want to know something really strange? I like Rogue One.
Yeah.
I really strongly
Yeah.
like Rogue One.
Yeah.
I have watched Solo more than any Star Wars movie in the last 5 years. Like I just keep going
Yeah.
back. There's
Yeah.
something about Solo. There's something kind
Fun.
of down homey
Yeah.
and quaint about Solo that that just keeps bringing me back. And I really wish we were getting more and more of that iteration of Star Wars stuff.
So we just named two movies that you could, they're adjacent, so they're not exactly sequels or or
Han
prequels.
Solo is a direct
Right.
star of the
Right.
Star Wars franchise.
Right.
So that's not quite adjacent, but yes, Rogue One is definitely an adjacent movie.
Can you name me movies that what's the term, return, I guess, as opposed to we're not talking reboot, we're not talking about we could throw reboots in there, but I think you and I both feel
Return
the
to
same way
form
about
kind of movies.
reboots. Well, movies that are resurrected, franchises that are resurrected. I can't name you. I'm trying to think off the
Days
top
of
of my
Future
head.
Past.
Movies that have come back like 10, 15, 20, 30 years after the fact and are actually good.
20
Like-
years after the fact of so they've
Like The Matrix. Use The Matrix as a model, right? The Matrix is 20 years old. It had a part 1, 2, and 3. It ended,
Jumanji.
and now 20 years later. Jumanji?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I mean, really?
It was out almost 20 years ago. Now it came out again. It was a big hit, and they're doing a sequel to the reboot. It's Jumanji.
Jumanji. All right. I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, these are your rules, man.
What else? What else you got? What else can you name? Can you think of? Ghostbusters crashed and burned.
Yeah.
They're doing a Coming to America sequel. I mean, they're doing the Bill and Ted sequel. I'm so nervous for all these. I think they're just
Bill and Ted, that's a possibility, but
all
no.
going to be bad. I feel like they're just all going to be bad.
What did we just say? And what did we just say in the first segment, though?
What?
No. About
the
predictions of things being terribly bad.
I don't pay attention to what we say.
All right, that's why I'm not going to repeat.
What else? What else can we think of? I mean, where else can you?
Well, then stop talking, and I'll think of one. But you're just munching at me constantly. Cut it out.
This is where I did not actually prep and come up with
Stream
anything.
of consciousness, man.
I came up with this on the spot. So
I know. That's what, and we could have written it down if you decided to talk to me before we get on the show. But no, you never do. You never do. You always just bring the stuff. I don't know. There definitely one or two where you're like, what year is it? Like, I mean, Terminator. It's arguable.
Okay. Terminator 2 is legit because it was like 7 years after the fact.
2 or Aliens. They did that with Aliens. Aliens came out in the 70s, and Alien came out in 86, and then they're talking about, they're talking
all right, let me ping pong this question.
Avatar. Avatar came out 10 years ago. They're talking about making another one.
Well, they've been talking about that for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean that'll once it comes out, that'll be in the category, right?
Let me ping pong this in this direction.
I thought the Thing remake, which was technically a prequel of the Thing, I thought the movie was not bad. I thought it was a pretty clever idea of resurrecting the franchise. It didn't work because the movie didn't catch on, but the movie itself, regardless of what the box office said, is not a bad movie. The CG in the movie is bad.
I'm sure there's a movie that fits this bill, and I can't remember it. So please chime in on the Facebook feed. We will comment back at you and
disagree with you.
And disagree. But
of course, Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Blade Runner is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
The sequel.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I give Blade Runner. That was an excellent one. I was trying to think when is it when they return after like a really long layoff where it's actually better, as good or better.
As good or better, you're not going to get that these days. I know because they've monetized criticism, right?
I mean, I'm thinking Crystal Skull as the exact opposite of what I just described. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, complete opposite of what I just described.
I get you. I don't agree with you, but I get you. I understand what you're saying. I mean, a lot of people
Not
A
as
lot of
bad as people. Crystal Skull is not as bad as people think it is.
I think Crystal Skull is fine considering what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And also considering the unevenness of the franchise before it.
Yeah.
Because it had ebbs and flows, right? Also, some of the criticism of Crystal Skull is kind of nonsense when you look at the other movies. Like one of the main criticisms is it was stupid that he was able to crawl into a refrigerator and survive a nuclear explosion. I get that. But the other movie, he jumped out of an airplane with a raft.
Well, and a man could put his hand through your heart.
Yeah, and take your heart out and you're still alive. I mean, there's
a
lot of absurdity.
Right, I had no problem with the refrigerator. I thought that was actually okay.
It's the cute. It's kind of Indiana Jones cute,
Right. I actually had no problem with the refrigerator.
Him being 70 and slugging it out with giant Russians, that's another story. But he's indie. Maybe that'll work.
I also thought the CGI on the monkeys was pretty poor.
But I get that, and it's not a great scene.
No.
But I don't understand. This is a new thing we have in our time where one scene will ruin a whole movie for someone.
No, there was a collection.
All I hear about is the fridge and the monkeys. Those are the main things I hear about it.
Well, there's no mythology in that story. That's the problem. Like they tried to give you like that one scene in the jail cell where. Or was it the jail cell? I forget what it was. Where he was like, you go here, and then you go here. It came together, and you're like, I don't even get what you guys are looking for. Like there's no.
Well, no, I mean they do explain what it is, and
I know there's no grandeur to it. There's nothing like.
But here's the other thing, man, and this is the truth, and I don't blame you or anybody else for it, but I think no one's giving this other factor consideration. You're an adult watching that, as opposed to a kid watching that. I mean, the last Indiana Jones movie came out in 1987. All right? Were you even born in 1987?
No. 1993 was when. It wasn't 87. Last Crusade wasn't 87.
Last Crusade was 87, my friend.
No, 89. It
was in the 80s. I think it was 80.
No, it was 89.
It might have been 88. 88, 80, maybe 89.
It was 89. Came out 89. All right. Chime in.
Doesn't matter. I think the bottom line is that we're 20 years older. So some of the stuff that worked on us then is not going to work on us now.
Well, it's possible. Let us know what you think. When we come back, all new, Spinning the Racks. We talk House of X. This is why you need to be aware of this series because of all the cool stuff that's going to be happening in the MCU in a few years when we come back.
Oh, look. Kid Harington's fighting Cersei again.
Yeah.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
Are they gonna bring Daenerys in? Are they gonna?
Yes.
Marvel's attempt. This is Marvel's attempt to
do it all.
Just to retcon the ending of Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Maybe so. Maybe this will be how they do it.
We're gonna do it.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. Now we're going to do the C in comics. We are going to go spinning the racks.
Spin the rack, spin that rack.
All right, we have changed Spin the Racks. We've kept the song because it's great, but we want to give you a little bit of insight and our own opinion into what's going on in the comic book world. And right now, the big conversation is House of X. It is the Jonathan Hickman scripted reboot, essentially, of the X universe. Some quick backstory for all you MCU fans out there. Marvel basically was in the same situation they were in with Spider-Man, where they licensed out all their X-Men movies. And then this was seen as a great thing because X2 came out and X-Men came out. It was this amazing thing, right? These movies make lots of money. Then eventually Marvel's like, no, we're going to do this ourselves. And they launched Marvel Studios. Everyone's like, Marvel Studios, that's never going to work. It does work. It works so well to the point where Marvel, as an entire entity and corporation, was just like, we need to do whatever it takes to tank these other franchises so that we can get the rights back to them. Didn't work necessarily, but they essentially went about tanking the entire X universe for many, many years. Hassan, put us back into the 90s when you were collecting comics. What was the number one comic book out there?
X-Men.
What did everyone...
Uncanny X-Men specifically.
What did everyone aspire to want to read or write or draw?
Everybody wanted to read, write, or draw, especially draw, the X-Men. They wanted an X book. It's, there were so many of them they were referred to as X books.
Yes. Wolverine was literally in every book too at the same time.
Peak. Yes.
Yeah.
It was an oversaturation of X.
Yes.
And the Avengers were kind of a joke.
Big joke. I mean, this is the thing. People, they can't even fathom this. Like,
no, they can't, because it doesn't. I mean, even you and I have a little trouble remembering like how big X-Men were versus how small the Avengers were.
Yeah.
And Iron Man was like it was niche. It was quaint.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, look, the stuff that MCU has done for their adjacent characters. The other great thing about that, without even going on a tear, is that those were the characters that Marvel owned outright.
Right.
And they managed to turn those into household names and tank other franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, look, the biggest movie in the world is an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
insane. It's absolutely insane.
I know. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you'd be sitting there going, like,
no,
what?
Not at all.
Like, there was literally a battle 20 years ago, or
I used to
over 20 years ago.
I used to think the Avengers were weak. I'm just like, Captain America and Iron Man.
But
Stop it.
they were saying, like, Mark Waid's run on Captain America back in the 90s was like, they were astounded that someone could actually make Captain America cool. Like, the thought of him actually being cool.
I said that when they announced they were going to make a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they just tanked it. Yeah. That's going to be... Because I remember the same crew that went to see Green Lantern. We went to see Green Lantern in the same movie theater. It was all of us. And we didn't expect Green Lantern to be great, but we didn't expect Green Lantern to be as bad as Green Lantern was, right? And so... the whole time for Captain America, we were like, "Here we go, we're gonna do it again." 2:00. It was late because we got a print of the movie. That's when I worked at the movie theater, and we got a print of the movie, so we were gonna watch it the day before it debuted. And we just went in. It was like, "This is gonna be such a..." And then we were literally like gobsmacked.
Yeah.
The sequence where they made Steve Rogers into Captain America for the first time, and he chases down that cab.
Yep.
And you're like, This is working. This is fantastic. This is adventure. This is a period piece superhero movie about Captain America, and it has this really sad, touching ending.
Yeah,
that actually refuses to resolve itself for 10 years. It's an amazing accomplishment. It really was. It really was.
So I hope we have set the backdrop as to what this means now that Marvel owns, or Disney owns, the Fox universe. And now all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's take our X-Men characters and make them relevant again. So that is what House of X and Powers of X is.
Supposed to do.
So we are reviewing the first 3 issues of both. Actually, the first 2 issues of House of X, first 3 issues of Powers of X. The big reveal, spoilers again if anybody hasn't read any of these things. It's Jonathan Hickman, who is best known for his Secret Wars and his Fantastic Four run. Secret Wars was an absolute joke and horrible because it was late, so you could never really figure out what the story was because it just never came out. There was like just months where it
didn't coincide with the other issues that it was supposed to come out with, right?
Right, and it was supposed to like kind of reboot the Marvel universe, and it really didn't do a good job of it. But his Fantastic Four run, everyone keeps telling me, is supposed to be great. So here he is, kind of taking on the X-Men universe and kind of rebooting the X-Men universe. We have elements of classic X-Men, and we have the island of Krakoa, right? Is that
Krakoa? Yeah.
Yeah, which was the original giant-size X-Men issue, where Dave Cockrum, I think it was Len Wein, right? It wasn't Claremont on giant-size X-Men, rebooted the original 5 X-Men and brought in characters like Colossus and Wolverine and
No, that was
Nightcrawler.
Chris Claremont and Jim Lee, wasn't that?
What are you talking about? Giant size X-Men. Giant size, 1975.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
There
come
was
on.
another giant size X-Men. That remember when they launched just X-Men, it wasn't Uncanny anymore.
Right. No, yeah, that's just X-Men.
Okay.
That's just X-Men.
Yes. So
But you have. I'm saying Hickman is pulling.
I get you.
Hickman's like pulling from all the way back.
Yeah.
And there's elements to this. Again, I am not a huge Jonathan Hickman fan in terms of his style. I don't know anything personally about him. I'm not a fan of his style. I think his style is usually very academic. However, reading House of X brought me immediately back to like Grant Morrison's run, where you're like, wow, I'm reading something different. But at the same time, it was different, and at the same time, it tied into the past, bringing characters like Moira McTaggart back, bringing like the island of Krakoa, and kind of tying that into this new venture that Xavier is hoping to kind of accomplish in terms of the mutant human relations. I'm happy we're not seeing the same old Magneto again. I'm tired of reading Magneto storylines where he just tries to take over the world. Like, we're good with that. I'm good with that.
Although there were elements of that in there.
Yes. Yeah, right. Everything stayed true to the character. So right off the bat, I got to tell you, very impressed with these issues. The big reveal, though, was that Moira McTaggart has been a mutant all along. Sorry, this is spoilers, but I already gave you the spoiler warning, and this is the tail end of the show. So at this point, you should have seen this coming. She has the mutant power of reincarnation. That is driving sales of House of X #2 up, which I have my own copy, which is great.
Well, that's good to know that the comic book is doing well.
Oh, yeah. It's like $30-$40 on eBay right now.
Nice.
Hassan, your take so far?
My take is mixed. I think I applaud a new direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think the visuals, I think the comic book is drawn stunningly.
Yeah.
I think the not only are the pencils smooth and consistent and beautiful, but also the coloring is vibrant. It lifts it right off the page. That was one of the main. That was the thing that mainly got me continuing to thumb through it. Right?
Can I interject also for a quick second? Yeah. The level of bad that the X books got was.
Yeah, I don't even want to. I was trying to keep it all positive.
No. But there was a time, like seriously, about 5 years ago, where you're just like, they would just throw like the hackiest artists on it, and you're sitting there going, like,
you're ruining the positivity. But yeah,
no, but this was. I mean, it was X-Men. X-Men was always like, again, the book anyone wanted to draw, so that you'd always have your top pick of like the top artists, and they just didn't even care. Didn't even care. But they're back now.
Just wants to keep talking about the bad. Okay.
No, how good the new art is.
Yeah, you don't need to say good things by trashing the bad. I
did.
I know you did, because that's how small your brain is.
But
anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's my take on it. I had more elaborate stuff to say, but
what about the reincarnation? It's just not. You said it, right? Because we talked off air, and you said it's not really power of reincarnation.
That idea is terrible. That idea is ruining, very strongly ruining any new direction that this is going in, and not because of the concept of the fact that she is preborn, which is an old concept by Frank Herbert in Duke, but that doesn't matter, right? Feeling, so it's okay. It's comic books. It's a pastiche of everything, but it's not reincarnation. She's living the same. What he failed to explain is she's living the same life over and over and over.
Right.
So the concept where it was interesting, where she would die and then be reborn a few days after she died in a new body in a contemporary time, which would make it interesting.
Right.
Is ruined because she's Groundhog Daying.
Yes.
Back and forth, and it's like, well, wait a minute,
yes.
And then the way he explained it, you kind of have to just figure it out, because you're like, wait, she how can she meet Xavier again in the next life,
Yeah.
And how can so then she gets threatened by destiny, right? Oh, blah blah this and blah, you're only going to be able to do this 10 times. How do you know? I mean,
Destiny can't even see her own death coming. She gets killed like. I remember she gets killed in the original Uncanny Run too from Chris Claremont.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like, well, wait a minute though. she's neutralized.
Yeah.
She's never going to be able to, all you have to do is survive, is outlive her time of being alive that time.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody else's life is linear.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's a threat to you, if you're deciding she's a threat to you, that means you're immortal and that you travel through parallel dimensions and you're going to keep running into the same person. Right? But that's not what was happening. So the whole idea that people were threatened by her reincarnation is nonsense.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is avoid her for that one life.
Right.
And then they could go about their business. She can't really do anything. And if she's living, I don't know, is she living? It's so, the concept is
it's
so
very Edge of Tomorrow, where he basically
clumsy. But Edge of Tomorrow was based on a particular set of moments, right? In the character's life, and he was trying to accomplish something in the set of moments that he was.
Well,
right?
she technically is also. She's trying. She's, by Powers of X #3, you essentially understand that she's tried this 7 other times,
which is fine, and that's perfect. But then the speech that Destiny gives her, is nonsense, because they don't have to worry about if they kill her, that's over for them.
Yeah,
because they're still in a linear timeline. They're not going to have to worry about her ever again after they've killed her that one time.
Right.
She'll come back, and maybe she'll change life, but they won't know it.
Right.
I know. Like, why treat her like she's a villain?
Mm-hmm.
If that's it would seem like a solution in search of a problem, and it's not really. It was just that was the only really clunky thing. It was high concept.
And what Chris Aaron had mentioned to us last week too is that there are some errors that he's going to fix in the trade, and it's like, really, you've had a whole bunch of time to figure this out, and there's errors in your story. So
how do you admit in the midst of the run that this is a problem? You would say that's something you would say after the run is over and you're going to do a trade, right?
Right.
That's like after the original run of Spider-Man is over, you re-release Spider-Man with extended scenes in it.
Right.
You don't tell the audience before they go in to see it for the first time, hey, 6 months after you see this, we're going to re-release it with better scenes in it. You don't. That's nonsense. It's just, look, the art is beautiful, the coloring is fantastic.
Look, the concept is to me the concept is strong enough though that I'm interested to see where it goes. I like the fact that we're reading these parallel timelines. They're not, well, I guess they're parallel in the sense, it's supposed to be one linear timeline, but it's really not. You find out by the end of Powers of X #3 that the 1,000 years later, the apocalypse timeline that you're watching is actually Moira's 9th life, and this is now her 10th life. So, but she has the information she needs to somehow kind of save humanity.
But they don't explain how these lives work. How are the lives getting progressively worse if she's reliving the same life over? Is she the one making the changes? Is she the cause of these things?
I think they intimated that. The other problem with it though too is the fact that just like anytime you retcon anything, you retcon something, it's immediately going to make you go back and be like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Her reaction here shouldn't make sense. Like this. Not
only that, it's a paradox loop because you're never going to be able to set up the perfect timeline.
Yeah.
Because if that's your goal for your story goal is the perfect timeline.
Right.
At the end, once they kind of achieve it, or they come close to achieve it, or they actually do achieve it, what's to stop someone from changing it again?
What I was hoping for.
Resolution.
Yeah, what I was hoping for. I actually had the exact same thought when I read House of X #2, that Moira lived a past life like in the 1700s. Like that's the way it looked like to me. It looked like a real like rustic kind of farmhouse,
which was really interesting.
And then it was like, then she
it worked that way,
right?
Because you probably were reading it that's the same way I was reading it.
Yes.
And then what happened is at a certain point you kept running into walls. Like, wait a minute, now,
right?
How is she back in college with Xavier again?
Right.
How is she? And then you realize, wait a minute, she's just being reincarnated in the same body,
right,
over and over again. Which then
she's reliving the past as opposed to
the high and low from it was kind of crazy for me.
Yeah,
because when I first started reading, I was like, wow, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then when I realized, like, well, it's like oh, I'm so sorry, universe. I'm gonna tear down your boy again. It's like when I watched Looper, and I was like, well, this is high concept. Oh, that is such a glaring mistake that ruins the entire film all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the
What I was hoping when I was reading it was like, he's going to reboot this by putting us in Mora's eyes, and that's how he's going to reboot it. Like, I like when comics reboot themselves, because I think they absolutely actually need to, while not destroying the continuity that came before, but some sort of story event happens where now everything is kind of starts fresh again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's as a result of a story that's been building for years.
What about the Young X-Men with Iamenez, that whole run, the trial of Jean Grey? It's like that's another thing about all these reboots. I'm so burned out on the entire concept being reworked again. The fact that you're into it and you're excited about it is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll just try to ride your enthusiasm for it, because I am like, okay, like when I read it as an assignment for this show.
Yes.
I really did.
Yeah.
And then I started really getting into it. Like, no, wait, this is really, and then the kind of mistakes started popping up.
Right.
And then it was like, wow, this is not even a perfect it's yet another reboot, and it's not even, in my opinion, at this moment in the process, in my opinion, it's another reboot, and it's not even a really good reboot.
I think at this point, and this again, we're just tying it back into the MCU. Yeah. I think at this point it's going to stick, and I think at this point, anyone out there who has a passing interest in comics, passing interest in X-Men, passing interest in what's going to happen in the MCU should pick up the series, because I think it's going to actually, set the stage for things that we're going to be watching.
And ironically, I agree with you. I think everybody should read.
Why is that ironic?
Because I just spent like 10 minutes saying it's not that great. But
if you guys out there have comics that you would like us to talk about and wax poetic about and be positive about, we're going to stick to positivity on this as much as possible. We're not going to. Well, I'm going to. Well, we'll try. Go to secretsofthesire.com. Go fill out the contact us form out there and send us your comic if you would like us to talk about it. If we like it, we will. If we don't, we won't. It's just as simple as that. All right, next week, huge announcement. Very super excited. We are welcoming back Kevin Bacon alongside his brother, Michael Bacon, onto the show. They are the Bacon brothers. When they're not making movies and being awesome at life, Michael Bacon is actually a film composer and a TV composer. He's an Emmy Award-winning composer. So he's working a lot of times behind the scenes in the movies. Kevin Bacon, obviously, is full front in the forefront of movies and TV. They are a traveling band. They're a folk act. They're really awesome. They're going to debut a new single on our show, which is awesome. And they're going to do a whole bunch of cool things next week. Tune in for the Bacon Brothers. We'll see you guys then.
Secrets of the Sire.